about it, and we agree that a lot of the mainstreams on
You
both
have
sides.
to agree on it. I'm telling you right now, as someone who is married, when you have to instill values in a child, you cannot have the first elemental issue at 7 a.m. when you turn on the radio or a podcast to be disagreement. You got enough of that already in a home.
Yeah.
You need to have harmony.
That's facts. That's facts.
I had a question. My girlfriend and I have differing political beliefs. We voted differently. We're both Christians. We have a lot of the same beliefs about how humans should be treated, abortion, that type of thing. But identity politics a little bit, not liking candidates based on their personality versus their policy kind of divided us. Also prioritization of policies. So she's a little more foreign helping. And I think we should be more focused domestically right now with the damage we've, taken on the last 4 years. So how should we handle our relationship when we have a lot of the same values but differing political beliefs?
So if you guys don't know, my name is LFR Jojo. Today we're going over a video saying, can people with different political views get married? I'm excited to get into this one. It's going to be an interesting discussion. Make sure you like and subscribe. Let's get it.
Good question. So would you say that even outside of Trump, would you still largely agree on politics or no?
I think so. There's a little bit. I think that kind of plays into the identity piece. She tends to think that Trump's anti-immigrant, where I say he's anti-illegal immigrant.
Outside of Trump, do you think that she would vote more Republican than Democrat?
I don't think so, just based off of the foreign aid piece.
Do you want the truth?
Yeah.
Do not marry this girl.
Okay.
Do not marry someone that you cannot talk about the daily news with. You guys can laugh at it. Do not build a life with somebody where you cannot agree on what daily news channel to watch. I'm going to be honest.
Yeah, we can talk about it, and we agree that a lot of the mainstreams on both sides.
You have to agree on it. I'm telling you right now, as someone who is married, when you have to instill values in a child, you cannot have the first elemental issue at 7 a.m. when you turn on the radio or a podcast to be disagreement. You got enough of that already in a home.
Yeah.
You need to have harmony.
Can I ask you?
That's facts. That's facts. And I'm gonna add a little more depth to that. When you're dating or when you're in a relationship and you're trying to get married, your whole entire house is one unit. Think you're one. You're supposed to be one. I'm not gonna say agree everything on politics, but really what Charlie Kirk is saying is that you need to have the same core beliefs. Like your core beliefs have to fundamentally be the same. And politics is kind of like it's kind of like a dog whistle for that. You need to have the same core beliefs. If your wife or your husband has fundamentally different core beliefs than you, there's no way it's going to work. There's no way. If you believe, a core belief that you have is that, I guess, men should be the leader of the household. If that's a core belief that you have and your wife doesn't have that core belief, then it's literally not going to work. And I'm not shaming either side of this spectrum. It's just how it is. Why would you want to date someone or marry someone who has genuinely different fundamental views of the world or fundamental beliefs, core beliefs than you? It sounds very problematic to me. Politics is fluid. It changes, pretty often. But core beliefs, you need to have very, very similar core.
Like specific issues, like we agree on abortion. We've talked about immigration, and I've said, Trump's not anti-immigrant, he's anti-illegal immigrant, and we need to protect our own citizens, and we do need to bring in people from other countries, but only when we can actually give them opportunities. And we agree on that type of thing. So what would be dividing beliefs?
Well, I asked what was the revealing? I asked, would she vote more Republican than Democrat? And you said, again, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but you said not really.
Yeah.
And again, I'm only saying build a life with someone where you have agreement on the macro issues. You can have disagreement on the micro issues. You need to agree on religion. You need to agree on eternity. You need to agree on political matters. You could disagree on what type of food you like. That's micro. Yeah. You could disagree on bedtime. Right? You could disagree on the type of cars or where you vacation. That is micro. Macro, you must be in alignment. And understand, let's just take, for example, you're raising a child. And she's like, hey, you take the son in the morning and then he'll be with the mom. Is that kid going to hear two different things? A house divided can't stand. And so that's the point, is that there must be harmony, because if all of a sudden, for example, your wife will be like, well, Trump is XYZ, and you say, well, no, he's actually this. At some point, it's like they'll look and they'll say, well, there's disunity there. So I'm a big believer in macro agreement. I'm not trying to rock your world here, but do not try to change your girlfriend or your future fiance or wife politically. It does not work.
Yeah.
I'm telling you right now.
This would actually be a good segue. So I was going to come here to Wazoo. I go to Spokane Falls Community College. I didn't want to live the party life, the college frat life, and I didn't want to be influenced by liberal universities. I wanted to kind of just work and go to school. And I think a big piece of her political beliefs, I hear her, she has an open mind to what I say, and she starts to agree with things. I think a lot of her life has been influenced by having two liberal parents, and then now she's in school.
Do not marry this girl. You do not want liberal in-laws. You do not want this. I'm telling you, run away, find somebody else. In-laws are very important. I'm telling you right now, as someone who's married with 2 kids, in-laws become embedded. You almost inherit them as pseudo-parents. And if all of a sudden you're going to be like, oh, here's Thanksgiving, here's Christmas, you should be excited about Thanksgiving. You should be excited about it, not begrudging against it.
I'm not going to lie. This is very, very, very good advice. This is very good advice. And I don't even necessarily agree that you have to have the same. Well, I don't know, because politics today is very divided. It's extremely divided, where either you, I guess, really, really support the conservative or the liberal side, or you just hate the other. It's extremely divided. But politics has not always been like that. There was a time, at least I believe so, that you can literally just vote a different way and it would be like, oh, whatever, you voted that way. That's why I really emphasize core beliefs. But in today's time, and there's a huge divide politically, you don't want someone who genuinely just hates who just hates the way you view the world. It's just not going to work out. And you don't want to hate anyone else's views of the world. It's just not healthy for a young, relationship trying to grow into a marriage. And they emphasize that she had liberal parents. I don't really know what that means. I'm going to assume he's saying radical liberal parents. That's going to be a problem if you're even slightly leaning conservative. If they have radical left-leaning parents as a conservative, and it's literally not going to work out. Same way if you had radical, super extremist right-leaning parents and you were dating someone who was slightly left-leaning, it's not going to work out. It's just how the world works. We're people who like tribes. We want people around us who, they don't have to be like us exactly, but at least have, similar fundamental beliefs that we can build on.
And so if you want warfare in the family, because here's the sad truth. You want the more blunt truth?
Why not?
Is she have a good relationship with her dad?
Yeah.
She'll side with him over you. Every time.
Yeah. And
she will leak to her parents against you if all of a sudden she feels as if the politics is going under the marriage. Her first love is her dad. And if she has a good relationship with her dad and she feels as if that you're bringing bad ideology in there, I'm sure your mind is turning a little bit because you might have seen some examples of this. She will go back to the liberal parents against you and you'll be on an island.
Yeah. And I say she has an open mind. I don't want to put her under the stereotypical liberal. And
I'm not saying that.
I will say it's
parents matter, though.
Yeah, but with her dad, I'll just give you this anecdote. Her dad knows how I voted, and and he's a pretty strong advocate against Trump. He hasn't ever brought it up to me. We've had a good relationship, and she has called out her dad for not having enough of an open mind, and she says that I'm torn between you two, and I think you should be less hateful.
I know. I'm telling you though, tie goes to the runner, which means tie goes to the biology, and because it's unfair for her to choose which one or the other one. You might think I'm generalizing. This comes from over 10 years of seeing and doing this, that political agreement is a necessary foundational element when you want to try to build a family.
Got it.
Thank you, man.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, for the most part. And Charlie Kirk's case specifically, yes, because Charlie Kirk is an extremely big name in the Conservative Party. That goes without saying. He has millions of followers in the Conservative Party. And he is without a doubt conservative, at super right-leaning Republican, So yeah, and you don't want to date someone who just completely hates the way you view the world. That's just not gonna. It's just not long term sustainable. Maybe there will be a time one day where politics isn't as divisive. I think there will be. I don't think we'll always be in a political. It's basically a political civil war. I don't believe that. I have people who follow my channel who are extremely right leaning and who are really left leaning. I try to be as objective as possible because we're at the end of the day in America we're humans. We are one. The United States of America. We are civilians. We are citizens who all, I would hope, want the best thing for our country. So maybe one day it won't be as divisive. Now it is, obviously. But anyways, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. My name is LFR Jojo, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.